Alright, here we are in this best of three series played out in the Aureil Stormgate Open, the first of his Open tournaments. I imagine he will have more of these. And this game is going to be an Infernal vs. Infernal featuring in our blue Infernal here, Elazer. And his opponent in this match, also playing the Infernal faction, but in the red colors, this is Yoru. And Yoru just came off an epic best of 5 with MSRM. And I think that one went the full 5 games. So we'll see how this series goes. This is just a best of 3. That last series was accidentally played as a best of 5 due to a mix-up in the rules. So we won't see a full 5 games here, but we might see 5 games from these folks if they make it into the semis. And here we have the scouting. Ooh, the Gaunts pop out to get a couple of axes into that Hexen before she teleports away. And let's see. She just 3 hit points of real damage. Of course, as soon as she captures one of those health camps, she might be able to heal that up, no problem. And for the moment, she's just soaking up that sweet shroud skin from standing on the shroud. And our vault's open. Let's see here. Elazer's gone very quickly into 3 shrines. I think this was double shrine into vault. This was his first shrine. He did the old lumberjack the trees to make a quicker rally point for his imps. And it looks like his first Brute and Hexen are out on the map. Meanwhile, Yoru has opened production first and it's already got a Ritual Chamber on the way. So this is going to be really fast Plague Axes, I imagine. Although it could also be a Hexen play. What do we got going on here? There's our first Gaunts out doing some creeping. And now they're heading to the speed camp here where there's a Brute to join them. So this play from Yoru has been just a little bit more army focused, a little less eco greedy, but he's still gone for a 3rd shrine fairly quickly. So neither of these players are going all in. Both of them are focusing on that eco to start the game. And now we have some fiends from Elazer. They look like they're probably mostly scouters. One of them is stealing this health cap, and now we have 3 come over here. They see the shrine's not even done yet, and they're going to try and steal the speed camp too. Yoru's, for the most part, ignoring that. He's using his forces to take out the shadow demons here. And these fiends, yeah, they've mostly just stolen camps, and it looks like Yoru's probably going to try and come back and chase them away, as they've now got on top of an imp. Oh no, poor Mr. Imp. Poor imp goes down. So the fiends do get a little tiny bit of eco damage for their effort. And now they've rushed back to the healing camp, so that one fiend's going to heal back up, although they're not going to be any match for this force that's now coming in to clean them up. And yeah, there go the fiends. But now it is Yoru's fiends moving across the map, trying to get some of that recon. It's going down here first. Doesn't see anything. I wonder if that was just checking for a 4th. And there is already a tower here. What about this base is unprotected, but there are 4 brutes there. You don't want to get in that. And oh, a Magmadon came walking by and just ignored the fiends. And here the fiends get on top of the imps. The Magmadon comes back and says, oh gee, I should not have ignored them. 2 imps go down, but the imps turn to fight, and yeah, chomped down. Look at that body block in there. That poor fiend getting a little confused, but somehow still having 2 hit points. There he goes, chomped by a Magmadon. Maybe when Magmadons kill even enemy fiends, they should chomp them. They should consume them. Maybe get that white health back, that shroud skin. Of course, that's just me speaking as an Infernal player. It wouldn't affect this matchup at all, because of course this is the mirror. So maybe that is a good change. I should write a feedback post. And, okay, so Yoru, or sorry, Elazer creeped out his health camp while Yoru's taking over the Luminite camp. And then now it is Elazer going. Now, interestingly, does Elazer even have a conclave? Don't see. He went with 2 shrines here. I've never seen that before. Now, Elazer tends to have really well thought out builds. Part of this is a wall, I think, but also maybe that's just for a wall, but it also gives you the additional imp production. And that might have been the reason why he goes there. You can just get even faster imps. And I do like this as a Infernal player. In the mid to late game, once you have these megs out, if you start stomping down some of these trees, you're going to make much more accessible attack paths towards your enemy. Now it's mostly megs here, and there's a lot of gaunts, but these gaunts, oh geez, there's a Nightfall Infestation, and there's a trampling meg right on top of those units. So many low units here, and many of them are infested. I think we see a couple more going down to infest damage, which means more fiends are popping out. Although a lot of those fiends came from the brutes, and I think, are they upgraded? Nope, no upgrades. Thought there might have been just extra. Here we go. We're getting Demon Hoof Tremors from our Hellforge. And it's a, is that a second Hellforge? Or the first one? That's the first one, still just going down. I asked that because it is now common, at least for some Infernal players, to go 2 Hellforges when you hit tier 3. Because there's just so many good Hellforge upgrades you might want. Your Brood upgrades, your Magmadon upgrades, and your Hellborn upgrades if you're playing Hellborn as well. Now, Hellborn have not been as popular in this matchup in the most recent meta. I think that's just because Magmadons are favored, as they have been for a long time. And here we've got a little drop from Yoru coming in. It's a Gaunt and Brute drop. And this is going to start getting some kills. There is a Manifest Shroud Zone and Nightfall Infestation, really well positioned. And now there's Shadow Flyers out on the map. Bam, bam. Okay, so they needed one more to take that out. Here we go. Boom. It's gone. We see a few fiends popping out there. That was, I believe, because there was a brute in the Harbinger, which means when it died, it turned into the 2 fiends. Interesting that that logic still works when you're inside a Harbinger. Same thing also happens for infested units inside a carrier, a dropship. So a ton of megs here. I don't even know, 10 megs maybe? And they're just going to go to town on this shrine while there's a Shroud Zone there. Now, they've already used their trample, and so it's the trample from Yoru that's going to push them back. Now, in retreat, Elazer is going to trample. That means any of the units that are chasing him down will take the damage, but he's in full retreat. Some of Yoru's units got trapped catching the Shadow Demon, but the rest of them are chasing down this Magmadon force. And again, it's just sort of pure mag, and we're seeing even more mags here coming in. So this is the composition that Elazer's gone for here. I guess his belief is the Infernal versus Infernals. It's all about the mags. I've heard that from a few other high-level players. There's a Hellborn on the map for Yoru. So Yoru's going for the more conventional sort of mixed up composition versus this high mags. Now, oh no, I didn't even see that. One of the Hellborn there was trapped behind. Even though they're going full meg, there's no meg speed yet. And are we on tier 3? We're still upgrading tier 3 for... And here we have some units going into this base while the rest of them are engaging these megs. Now here comes a huge trample. Yoru might be microing other units here because a lot of those gaunts go down. A Nightfall Infestation. And these yeah, those Magmadons go down. A few more come up for Elazer, and they start trampling in. Now, of course, the trample still does damage to other mags. It just doesn't stun them. That's to stop the weird interactions we were having early on in the early access. So many mags from Elazer, though. They seem to be just so resilient. Although now it's hard to see. There's about an equal number of mags, but there are Hellborn of Yoru in the back. More mags show up for Elazer. Is that going to be enough to turn this tide? So many low mags for Yoru, but they're the ones winning the day right now. I think there's been some good consume micro, as some of those Magmadons were able to refresh their white health, but now because so many were low, they all get taken out by these reinforcing mags, and they're forced to retreat. Meanwhile, it looks like there was a mag run by. Don't say that very often. They're unfortunately forced to engage with all these Fellhogs. Great farm positioning from Yoru here to make sure that he has a lot of defensive Fellhogs. And look, all his imps were able to run away and avoid the damage. That gave him time to get these mostly brute force back to fight off these Magmadons. And sure enough, this is going to be defended. Meanwhile, another battle going on over here. This is an interesting sort of two-pronged mag attack that's been going out from Elazer, but I'm not 100% sure if this has been working. I don't know if he got the damage. Like, mostly he engaged Fellhogs there. These farms are still up. The imps are still mining. He may have got some imps there before we showed up. Oh, these Hellborn, you do not want to be caught out of position here. But, oh, while the Magmadons turn and run, I think that's because when the Hellborn get their shot off, they get so much damage. There's 4 Hellborn here. That was not quite enough to one-shot a mag, but it looked like they were two-shotting him. Once again, little 5 mag force here. Well, there's another mag force over here. I think part of what's going on is Yoru is getting kind of pulled back and forth between some of his goals. Although he's doing a pretty good job of splitting his army as well. What is it like? I love this. Got 1 Hellborn and 3 mags over here, and he's like, I'm gonna move out and take this tower, even though your army was just there. And now these oh wow, so many kills on the brutes there. The trample, of course, doing extra damage for the brutes, as well as the auto attack from the mags. But these mags are in full retreat. I think they need to turn and trample. There we go. There we go. And they want to get as much damage as they can while they're going down here. The reinforcements from Elazer are slowly arriving on the left-hand side here, but there's just so much from Yoru. I think this is going to be Yoru's battle to take. And indeed, well, here comes the dragon. Is the dragon going to be enough to turn the tides here? The Hellborn in the back are still getting shot, but there's 6 Hellborn for Yoru. And here comes a Weaver. Is it going to get a lash? Instead is going to engage this one brave mag. Actually, a couple more mags show up, and they're trying to get on top of the Hellborn, and they do bonus damage to Hellborn as well. This is not where you want your Hellborn to be facing off toe-to-toe with Magmadons. And maybe this is going to go in the favor of Elazer here, as his dragon is up above still, breathing down. It's only Hellborns from Yoru. That is a lot of DPS, but they just have nothing to tank for them. A couple Shadow Flyers here, trying to get on that dragon, and that at least zones the dragon back, and Yoru's own dragon shows up, and now he's going to be able to shoot down that Plague Breath onto the Magmadons. They're all infested. The Hellborn are doing their best to split against the Mags, but of course there are more Hellborn coming in from Elazer as well, and Yoru has to retreat. His own Mags showing up, a couple of brutes as well, but the Magmadons of the Elazer say, I don't care, we are here to kill Hellborns. And both those Hellborns go down. And what a crazy battle, especially because a lot of these units are so resilient that it takes so much damage to kill them, that this has been a real slogfest here. Up on the high ground, unfortunately, Yoru is caught fighting the Shadow Demons again, partly because he has a Wraith Stone there that will automatically aggro them. They did go down, so that's that Wraith Stone there. Yoru going to try and retake his health camp so he can get some of that passive regen. At the same time, we have Elazer taking out the Luminite camp, which of course is going to be good for income. But in these matches, I think that passive regen is going to be really helpful. And I think Elazer might want to go back and claim his own camp. But for the moment, he's staying in a defensive position while it looks like sending his dragon in to be a little bit of a harass. And, yeah, he took out the Wraithstone, which actually is a good kill. Now he's going to turn around and try and go for that Shroudstone, but as the Dragon of Yoru shows up, he has to fly away. Now, of course, we have these defensive Shadow Flyers, which are meant to take out your opponent's dragon. There's not a lot of else air on the map, so you also use your Shadow Flyers to take out the opponent's Shadow Flyers, so you get into this really kind of meta battle. It's your dragons you want to preserve. And, oh, these Static D are going down, but it might be a little too late as this force has just arrived. Once again, it's largely Magmadons. And Hellborn's in the back raining down their fire. Looks like they've got their tier 3 upgrades now for Elazer. Actually, both players now with the Molten Touch. Sorry, I forgot the name of that upgrade for a second. But those Mags trample right in the back. There's so much infest on all those Hellborn in the back. The Dragon of Elazer doing damage, but it's going to take that. Ooh, the Dragon going down. I don't see the Dragon from Yoru. I think it may have also been taken out already. And now it's these Hellborn hoping that their DPS is going to be enough to clean up the rest of these units. The Shrine goes down from the Hellborn of Elazer in the back. There are still a few Mags, but here come Mags of Yoru. And the Hellborn of Elazer have to retreat. A nice Nightfall Infestation catching a lot of them. Of course, that's slow, but it's also infest. The Magmadon's trying to get on top. A nice Manifest Shroudstone. Look how many Shroudstones there are on the high ground. This is not a position that you really want to attack into. Especially with those Hellborn there adding to the DPS. So Yoru retreats. Yoru replacing this shrine. At this point, these players have split the map in half. And we're at the 17-minute mark. The eco, of course, is much faster. I think the amount of resources, that means the amount of resources on the map has increased because you're getting more from each trip. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe the amount in each mine. I wish I had some observer UI I could check this. Maybe the amount in each mine is still the same. And you just mine it out faster. Actually, I think I may have heard something like that on Discord, that you mine out in 12 minutes now, instead of 14 minutes, which is what I remember. The old eco. So that means they're going to try and get all the resources on this map, but they are at some point going to get starved. Another nice Nightfall Infestation. These players are using all of the tools in their toolkit. We see a lot of Shroudstones going over here in kind of an aggressive position. But look at this as kind of a flank here. We have units on both sides. Mags at the south, but those got mostly taken out. But the units from the north now have made an ability to push through. But all the Shroudstones have finished. And once again, this is a rough position to be attacking into for Yoru. Most of his front line have gone down. But the Hellborn can keep raining down shots. This Mag isn't going to last. And then these Shroudstones are going to start peeling off. Nice micro battle here. Elazer at the bottom trying to use his Hellborn to get shots on the Hellborn that are harassing these Shroudstones. Now these Shroudstones aren't exactly in an important position. They're guarding the Ethereum camp. Some of these units trying to flank around, but the trees are getting in the way. And this is actually looking pretty good for Elazer. Some of his units are now getting on top of those Hellborn. A couple Hellborn going down. But Yoru able to bring in some of his own frontline units to clean them up. And now these Hellborn are also gone. This battle goes to Yoru, and so does the game, as GG is called from Elazer. Alright, we're back at it, and here we are in game number 2 between these two Infernal players, and wearing the blue trunks this time is going to be Elazer. His opponent in the red, also of the Infernal faction, is Yoru. Bubbling blood. Yes, and we see once again they have opted for different openings. We've got 2 production, looks like Vault into Conclave or Conclave into Vault. Is really hard. They're both at almost the exact same build time here. And Elazer scouts this out and sees it, but here comes the imp. I think Elazer is going to try and block the shrine here. And that... Yeah, okay, so Yoru says, fine, I'll just put my shrine over here. There's many places I can put a shrine. And Yoru's Hexen also doing some scouting, sees that it was shrined first over here into a single vault. And there's already an imp doing his lumberjack duties, chop down the trees, and we're on to 3. So I think this was shrine, vault, shrine. Maybe that's what Elazer did last time too. I wasn't paying as close attention. But this allows Yoru to be out on the map already. So he does have a vault, but it doesn't look like he's made a brute yet. He's instead just using the gaunt method here to do creeping of the health camp. It's still no brute out of that vault, so I'm interested what this build order is, what the idea is. Do you build the brute for your second? Actually, more gaunts. Oh, okay, and then 2 brutes. So now he's pumping units. So at first there wasn't as many units, and he didn't go for the ritual chamber. Last game he went quick into a ritual chamber. So he's definitely got a different build on, and this might just be map dependent. Remember, Broken Crown, I was sort of commenting between games there, used to be one of the more popular maps, but is now becoming less favored because there is a little imbalance on it, or at least perceived imbalance. I don't know if I could comment on what that is. But in, of course, a mirror matchup like this, there's not really an imbalance, but it's still a fast rush distance. So you might change your builds up. Isle of Dread favors certainly a little more greedy play. And so Yoru's come across the map with his greater forces now because he did open with the production. He's going to get a couple imps here. Nice stutter step there. Actually, are they going to get away? 1 imp goes down. And actually doing a good job to kind of fight in that choke, which forced the Elazer back. And, oh, nice little micro of the Fiends to send the Fiends over to fight the Imps. Imps turn and fight, actually, which is a good job. And there is a meat farm. So I think an Imp just went down there to preserve its life and turn into a meat farm. Nice Manifest Shroud Stone, but Focus Fire from Yoru is going to take it out. Now, the Imps have had to turn and fight. And I don't know. This is exactly what Elazer's hoping for. This Magmadon is the way you try and defend this. And Yoru is going to have to retreat, I think. You don't want to... The trample is over, but can you fight a single mag? I don't know. It is such a tough thing. Now, if a Fellhog pops out, he can go consume the Fellhog. Ay, 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 eat the Fellhog. So if you eat the Fellhog, you'll get all your white health back, of course, and that preserves that Magmadon, making him a little bit more tanky. For the moment, though, more units from Yoru are showing up. A second Magmadon is out, and this is starting to look super dangerous. I don't know if Yoru's going to be able to maintain this pressure. He does have 2 Fiends here. If he can micro them, he can get some more damage done. But that's a Trampling Mag, killing a couple of Brutes, and a second Trampling Mag. This is exactly what Elazer needs, is to just stagger these tramples. And I think this is unfortunately going to be the end of this push and maybe the end of the game. Although there goes one of the mags down. The other one's quite low. This is what I'm talking about, those consume. You got to remember you have that ability. There were no Fellhogs here, of course. No Fiends either. But here comes another Magmadon. And Yoru does have more units streaming across the map. This is something I really like about the new pacing of the game, even though I wish personally it was a little slower, is that the reinforcement speed is starting to match up better with the time to kill. That as your units are dying, it's around the same time your units are streaming across the map that are arriving. And this allows for longer, prolonged battles like we're seeing right now. Instead of having to retreat, Yoru has been able to continually add pressure, even though there's been so many mags. I think this is the 4th mag that's come out. And after that trample is finished, he just is going to get so much DPS chasing down the Gaunt. Gaunt with really nice micro from from Yoru here. What do we have? This is a couple fiends trying to get across the map and being annoying. I don't think two fiends are going to be enough. And this has been constant pressure from Yoru. So really cool style of play, opening with those two production buildings and then just not relenting. Another Manifest Shroud Stone here, and this is, yeah, that's looking too dangerous to attack into. The Brute remains, takes out that Shroud Stone, but is lost. Well, there's a single Fiend there. Oh no, you gotta turn and fight. Oh no. I'm mesmerized by the single Fiend. Already got it. There we go. I think there was a Fiend back here as well, but it got cleaned up. And Yoru has retreated back. But now Yoru's got mags of his own. And he's got Demon Hoof Tremors on the way. Do we have a Health Forge? Yes, we do. We also have Demon Hoof Tremors coming for Elazer. So both of them are going to have that stun ability up. Now, of course, remember, the stun does... Oh, no! He didn't capture it. But the stun does not work on other Magmadons. And as we saw last game, it tended to be a lot of mag-on-mag violence. There was a Shroud Stone here. That Imp's probably going to get sacrificed. Here's another Imp. Where are you going, bro? Is this going to be a Shroud Stone just to defend against the base here? Yeah, I like that. Just saying, you can't take this base until you dedicate some units. Double Shroud Stone here, and here comes the pressure again, this time with a couple mags. These Shroud Stones are going to go down. One of the Brutes goes down. And there was target fire from that Shroud Stone on Gaunts, which I like. One of those mags trampling some of the Imps. There's a single mag here. Ooh, gets on top of everything. Huge stuns. Nice splits from Yoru. Another mag coming in the back. And Elazer so far has been doing a good job of staggering his tramples. Ooh, nice tramples down here. Yikes, yikes. Some Imps, or sorry, Gaunts going down. Looks like the Hexen goes down as well. And just lots of mags again out of Elazer. And for the moment, pushing Yoru back. Yoru could regroup here with some Brutes. Drop it in effigy to get that sweet Shroud Skin. And now the trample. And again, look how he uses two of his mags for trample. And now he's got another one. So he's constantly, permanently trampling on these units. Lots of stuns. He's still got 3 that he can do it to. He's got another one. So many tramples. A lot of those units taking the extra damage from it. But it looks like Elazer is going to be forced to retreat here. As more reinforcements from Yoru show up. And again, I want to comment on how the faster eco allows for those reinforcements to show up and keep this battle going instead of retreating back and returning to a creeping phase. So that is something I do like. A lot of Brutes switching into Fiends here, trying to get a run by going on. But this base is going to go down. And here's that run by. There's no Imps here. Manifest Shroud Stone, that should probably clean that up. Meanwhile, on the front lines here, it's a ton of mags, but mag versus mag again. And these mags are fresh mags coming down with all their white health. Using their trample, but then pulling back as it looks like a Nightfall infestation got launched on them, or they're all infested. Now, interesting interplay between Infest and Shroud is when you're on Shroud, you, of course, regen your white health. And the Infest is sometimes going to be countered by that, or they counter each other. Of course, that doesn't mean that Infest is useless. It will mean that they're not healing their white health, or the rate at which they're healing has been changed in your favor. But it's just an interesting interaction between units. Even with the Miasma, it kind of reduces the damage you're going to be taking from that if you're standing on Shroud. So this Shroud Stone was spotted and got taken out, but here comes some mags from Elazer. Using their trample maybe a little aggressively there. I wasn't sure if that was all of them using their trample or not. But doing pretty good to split those units up and get them double and triple teaming on top of these mags, which means that those mags are going to go down. And it's Hellborn added from Yoru. Yoru's own mag force coming from the right-hand side here. Trying to defend that Hellborn, but the Hellborn's going to go down. Oh, no. And these mag have pushed through on top of more Hellborn. This is not great. We don't want those Hellborn going down to the mags. Oh, yikes. Another one goes down. And then a nice sort of suicide trample on the way in there, trying to get as much damage as he could on the way out. Wow, okay, so out front here, it's Brutes fighting with mags. And a couple mags going down. The Brutes doing a pretty good job. Are these upgraded? No, they are not. And here comes the first dragon on the map. And that's going to be a dragon for Elazer. Shadow Flyers immediately pumped out. And that dragon did have to retreat a bit. Now look at this. This little force moved over here. So Elazer, once again, with his little strike forces. One of his strike forces, I guess, is just this dragon. A dragon and a mag. Trying to take out Hellborn. Unfortunately for Yoru, these Hellborn have just been getting picked off over and over. That's a lot of expensive losses. Brutes over here. Manifest Shroudstone. Mags on this base now. But Yoru is going to have forces here to deal with it. His Shadow Flyer is still trying to zone that dragon away. Lots of Shroud Zones here. All those Shadow Flyers taken out. But so do go down the mags here. There's a single one left doing his trample. Once again, this is starting to look like Yoru is doing an okay job of defending here. But then I look at the supply, and Elazer does have a little bit of a lead. And I wonder if that's mostly an eco lead, because it looks like from an army standpoint here, Yoru has more. Unless there are units for Elazer that we can't see. I mean, there is one Magmadon just chilling there. Unfortunately, you cannot walk up those cliffs even if you knock down the trees here. Again, he's just got scattered units all over. Here he is regrouping. What do we got here? 6? Trampling the bushes. That was a little... I don't know. That was best use of that. Nightfall catches a couple units here. They're going to walk away so they don't have to deal with the army. And Elazer's taking out the Shadow Demons. There are a lot of Shroud Stones on the low ground, so he's dealing with that at the same time. And Yoru's forces come in from the left-hand side. Some of those mags being taken out. And is there going to be a dragon from Yoru here? I do not like this. All these mags turn and fight, and there are so many low mags from Yoru that they're going to go down. And now it's the Hellborn once again that are going to get caught. And more Hellborn, it looks like, are going to be sacrificed here. A couple mag come, a Nightfall infestation goes down on all these units. Every single one gets caught. And there's both the Hellborn down. And the Hellborn from Elazer get caught up on these Fell Hogs. This is one thing, I think Hellborn, they need to be babysit a little bit. Sabers too. Probably tanks as well, I don't really know. But if they're not firing on the units you want to be firing, if they're wasting their shots on Fell Hogs or Fiends or something like that, their slow attack speed, just all of a sudden you're losing some serious DPS in your army. Still, it's the dragon only for Elazer, no dragon for Yoru, and I wonder if this is going to sort of be the tale of this match, as Yoru keeps trying to defend here, but has to deal with the constant dragon pressure from above. And a couple more of his Magmadons are going to go down here. And now those Hellborn on the high ground are able to start, and that's going to be a GG out of Yoru in game number 2. Alright everyone, here we are in game number 3. Once again, wearing the blue is Elazer. And what a great job of these two for keeping their same colors each match so it doesn't confuse me. And in the red, for the third time, it's Yoru. Alright, so here we are on Secluded Grove, and it looks like these two are sticking to their builds. We have Shrine Furs from Elazer, and is this going to be a vault? No, 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 he is going... Oh, no, I lied. I lied. I thought the vault might be down here, but it's out front. And the Elazer Scout said it is the double production opening again into a shrine. So a Elazer Shrine is going to be faster. That means faster imps on his side. But the units are going to be produced faster for Yoru. And there we go. Third shrine for Elazer. So he's sticking on his 3 shrine opening. And Yoru is also sticking to his opening, which definitely for Yoru, I know that he likes to have a build that he has practiced. And he will often stick to that build throughout the tournament. I mean, with variations, of course, depending on maps. But so far we've seen he's been favoring this 2 production building build. And I haven't seen his earlier games today, but I imagine he probably played those against MSRM as well. And so he has, again, used this 2 Gaunt style. So I'm sort of studying the build now in this matchup. Because, yes, then he pumps out 2 more Gaunts and 2 Brutes on, you know, after he's cleared this camp, maybe with part of the income from that camp. For instance, the income from that camp can afford you a single Brute. And since he built his vault early, he had 2 charges on the Brute, because he didn't build his first Brute when he could have. So when that income came in, he was able to pump out 2 really quickly. So I assume this is a well-practiced, studied build of Yoru. And again, like we saw last time, he's immediately turned that into aggression. He takes his healing camp and is moved across the map. Elazer looks like has changed his style here. He already has a defensive Shroud Stone up. I don't think he had one of those last match, or if he did, it was at a different location. And Yoru has chosen wisely, I think, to say, I'm not going to fight into your defensive structures. I'm instead going to come to this undefended third, and I'm going to harass it. These poor imps had to flee. Another imp was rallied down there, and he's like, oh, wait a sec, I probably should go somewhere else. And are these two going to chop woods? Not yet. This shrine, it looks like, going to go down, and that's going to be a huge win for Yoru here. And yeah, I think he's just moving away. He could come and force... He could put pressure on this shrine. Unfortunately, on Secluded Grove, this location here, anytime you're trying to get a third shrine for an Infernal, it's in a dangerous spot. Even this third shrine here, you can see it from the vision camp. You need extra static D on this side of the Luminite or Ethereum. Just a harder map to get a nice defensive foothold. And look at this! Okay. Elazer's always got tricks up his sleeve. He said, fine, deny me that third base. I'll just go get a different third base. And Yoru, again, wisely checking over here. Wait, did you make another third behind me? Is he going to be able to check this one? Is he going to realize that's something he should do? Meanwhile, Fiend, little scout Fiend here, while Yoru is putting down... Oh, wait, is that a fourth base? Fourth here, third here. So I think Yoru is trying to say, hey, I got a little bit of an eco advantage by destroying your third base. And now maybe I can multiply that out a bit. And if this gamble pays off, that is, if he is able to delay the attack from Elazer long enough for him to get this eco up and running, he's going to have more mag production and might be able to win that later game, in-game battles we were seeing with lots of mags. And Elazer is creeping as well. So both players choosing to switch to creeping. And this is kind of the first time in this series that we're seeing maybe a prolonged creeping phase from both players. We saw a lot of battle in those first two matches. Now we already saw this get Lumberjack down, so this is going to mean Elazer's going to have a little better time here. Actually, I lied, because there was already a mag up here too. So no Lumberjacks needed, as Yoru just stomps those trees down. Now, neither of them opting for the farm trick over here. I kind of thought Elazer might have when he already had his 2 imps there. But he wanted this base up and he wanted some defense on it. And we see now that actually Elazer has rebuilt that shrine. So Elazer is also on 4 bases. So any gamble that Yoru is making for these extra bases is at the moment, he might think he has an advantage, but he actually doesn't. That ninja base there on the bottom right has kept Elazer in this for now. And in fact, if we look at the supply, Elazer got just a little tiny lead. Oh, and he transfers all his imps here into Ethereum, well, most of them, while building a little bit more defenses. And again, look at this supply, almost even. Yoru broke down the trees to the middle. I think, again, that might have just been scouting or preemptive to build his own base there. Though I think he's just a little bit... Ooh, there's oversaturation here. That's the algorithmor trick, if I've ever seen it. I like to do that. By like to do that, I mean I do it all the time by accident. But when you do have a little oversaturation like that and you're still undersaturated here, that means those imps are basically not working. Oh, again, Elazer with the great trample timing. Only using 2 and now using the rest. So many good tramples here. What a huge engage for Elazer. Just not in time with the splits for Yoru. And Yoru sort of lost everything on the left here, or at least those gaunts are going down. And it's not clear how much, if anything, Elazer lost. He's got some low mags here that could go down. But if he does a good job of retreating them back and maybe getting them on Shroud. Some nice target fire from Yoru, though, to focus on the weak ones. Some huge micro battle. You know, grabbing your mags, splitting your gaunts, using the trample. Trying not to just control click your mags and hitting trample on all of them so that you're not wasting the trample on the ones in the back. So far, Elazer has been amazing at that. Staggering his tramples. Again. Staggered tramples. Both flank. I love it. But a few of his mags were low and they're going down. Yoru might be able to survive this battle. Another mag, but again, it is Yoru, and Yoru's going to GG out of this one.